Going no contact is perhaps one of the most powerful things you can do if someone else is losing interest or retracting energy, or if you've just moved through a relationship. One of the most powerful things you can do to really move on and to also at the same time stop tuning to somebody else is to go no contact, meaning you have no contact. You do not reach out. You do not find out how they're doing. You do not creep on their Instagram. These are things that you do in order to go no contact, which has so many benefits I'm going to explain in a minute, but it only really works when you do what I share with you in this video. A lot of people do this the wrong way, and because they do it the wrong way, they don't actually reap the benefits of it. So when talking about no contact, I've made videos about this before. Some of my most popular videos talks about what happens when you energetically go no contact. But basically, in a nutshell, what happens is when you're with somebody else, your energy fields are very intertwined. Your energy fields are very connected. And what happens is when you are even thinking of somebody else and you are around them a lot, you end up sharing fields in a way, energy fields. And what ends up happening as well is when you're thinking of somebody, even if you're not physically around them, you'll find that you thinking about them, wanting them to come around, wanting their approval, wanting their validation, when you think of them, you're literally energetically sending them energy. I know this sounds esoteric and kind of weird, but just I've seen this happen so many times in my own life and other people's lives when I share these concepts and these ideas. And what happens is when you go no contact, what you begin to do is you begin to clear the communication, clear the energy fields between you and somebody else. Now, when you clear the energy and you stop sending that person energy, you allow the other person to regroup. If it is meant to come back together, you actually give space for it to do so. Now, one of the main reasons people pull away and retract their energy energetically is because they want space. They want space. Maybe there's a little bit too much intimacy there. Maybe they have intimacy blocks. Maybe they want space because there's some type of needy energy there. Sometimes that happens, where the way somebody tries to control the dynamic is they're like, okay, I'm going to get this person to come around. I'm going to talk to them a lot. I'm going to send them a whole bunch of messages. And the more you do that, the more it actually blocks it from working. The more you actually push that person away. And when you retract your energy and you bring your energy back and you stop trying to control everything, everything ends up working out. And you allow and you give space, and you give space for somebody to realize how much they appreciate you, or you give them space and then you, in your own energy, realize that maybe it wasn't actually conducive for you. Maybe it actually wasn't the healthiest thing for you. But in general, the reason letting go and the reason going no contact is so powerful is because you stop projecting energy at somebody else. Now imagine this. Imagine you're saying, this person is not doing what I want them to do. They're not texting me back. I feel like they're in resistance. They don't understand the dynamic that we have. I don't get it. What's going on here? You're feeling resistance. And when you feel resistance and then you think of that person, you're literally sending resistant energy to them. And when they think of you, they're feeling the energy you're projecting at them. So it's like the resistance is being projected at them. They feel that. And then it repels them even more. And they say, I want more space. I want more space. And going no contact is what you do, is you stop sending them energy. You stop sending them resistance. You stop even energetically thinking about them. You start focusing more on yourself. You start focusing more on your own, being in your own body, doing your own things in life, being around your own friends, living according to your own integrity, following your own purpose. You are being called to right now, I believe, to bring the energy back to yourself. Pull your energy back, bring it back to yourself. When you do that, you then start to feel more safe in your own body. I've seen this happen so many times with people that are having trouble letting go of their ex, and they're thinking about them, and they're trying to make it work, and they're texting them a lot. And then I say, yo, pull your energy back. Put the energy within yourself. Put the energy within like your own life. Live by according to your own values. Follow your own purpose. Find new hobbies even. Put your energy into other things that aren't this person, and go no contact, meaning do not talk to them. Do not check their Instagram. Stop sending them this energy. You want to know what happens like 8 out of 10 times? Is they do that. They start enjoying their life more. And then 2 weeks, a month, a week even, the person starts to feel that, and then they try coming back. Or they try talking to that person again, or they reach out to see how this person's doing. And a lot of times you may realize, oh, you know what? It's time for me to move on. Maybe this wasn't the best dynamic, or maybe it was something that was that isn't serving you anymore. You realize that like you started focusing more on yourself. And I think a lot of times when people really have trouble letting go of other exes and relationships, it's like the reason they may have attracted this person is because it's reflecting back the belief that says there's something wrong with me and this person's not choosing me. And that reaffirms the initial childhood wound, so people choose people that don't really choose them. And then once they bring the energy back to themselves, then maybe that person comes around, but then that person has to decide, like, do I want to continue with this kind of energy? So in general, when we talk about no contact, sometimes when people watch these videos that I make, they assume, and I explain it a lot in the video too, but when you go no contact, you pull your energy back. You're not going no contact to get them back. That's the difference that changes everything. When people are doing it to manipulate someone else, when they're like, okay, I'm going to go 3 weeks without talking to this person, and when I go 3 weeks without talking to this person, I'll really show them, and then they'll finally come around and we could be together. That is called attachment to outcome. Doing it to get something out of the other person, doing it to get some type of response. In the anxious attachment style, which a lot of times this dynamic would be most classically the anxious attachment seeking the avoidant attachment's approval, because when someone is pulling back or someone's having trouble letting go, normally, not always, but a lot of times it could be the anxious attachment. But there's a behavior by the anxious attachment called protest behavior. Protest behavior is where sometimes the anxious attachment will like kind of pout or withdraw their attention or go inwards, and it's a mechanism that's used to actually get more attention. Instead of like vulnerably expressing to someone else how you're feeling and how you are in the moment, it's like, I'll let them try to figure it out. They should know how I feel. And when you talk about going no contact, this could be the strategy of somebody that's anxious attachment style to get somebody to finally come back. I'll show you. I'll be talking to other people. You're not going to know what I'm going through. You're going to get super in your head about it, and then you're going to want me again. But it's a form of protest behavior. It's a form of manipulation. And you don't want to do that. You want to let go with the recognition that what you're really letting go of and why you're really going no contact is because you're going to stop abandoning yourself. A lot of times we may abandon ourselves and tell ourselves stories that being with somebody that maybe isn't really bought in. We may believe or think that we need to prove ourselves to someone else to prove that we're actually worthy, to prove that we're enough. But once we realize that this may just be a replayed pattern from childhood, it changes the way that we relate to the situation. And the thing that I would encourage you to really look at here is, are you doing and letting go and going no contact because you're trying to get them back? Or are you going no contact because you realize it's time to stop abandoning yourself? It's time to stop chasing love and approval on the outside. It's time to start realizing that that energy is within yourself, and you tap into it. The more you stop abandoning yourself, the more you start doing what you want to do, the more you start going after your purpose, after your passion, the more you focus on even your family, your friendships, following your passion. Like, these are all things that you do that help you to maintain your own center of frame. I call it the magnetic frame. When you're in your own magnetic frame, you have magnetic energy. And you may have been telling yourself a story as well about this person. Maybe you tell yourself a story that this is the only person for you. There's no one else out there that could ever love you or treat you a certain way. But understand that a lot of times the story is the attachment that we have. And that story is what's keeping us blocked and keeping us locked into this one reality, keep us holding on, creating attachment. And the answer is always to let go of attachment. That does not mean that you can still not intend, you can still not connect with other people, but when you let go of attachment, it means attachment to outcome. Because a lot of times people are on scarcity with love, where they're like, I have to make this one thing work, and then it depolarizes the relationship, and then they keep sending that person energy, and they're trying to control the dynamic. And there's one thing in life, if there's one thing in life you really can't control, I promise you, it's your relationships. You cannot control how people respond to you. You cannot control what people think about you. And one of the most powerful things you can do is bring your energy back energetically so that you're not resistantly sending them energy all the time. Bring your energy back into your body. Begin to feel present again, because a lot of times too, people they're literally siphoning off their energy and projecting it in a million different directions instead of putting the awareness within, enjoying the moment, being around friends. Like, what you want to do is you want to go no contact, which means you don't reach out to them, you don't check their Instagram, but you go no contact, not because they're going to come back and it's some manipulative tactic. You go no contact because you realize that it's time to stop abandoning yourself. It's time to stop trying to prove yourself to people. It's time to stop trying to chase other people, trying to show and prove to you that you're actually worthy. You are worthy for simply being you. And when you stop abandoning yourself, you realize that people begin to treat you very differently. People begin to respect you more. When I started doing this in my life, so many levels of my life, everything changed. People respected the boundaries I would set. People respected me more because I was being more vulnerable. Sometimes as well, when it comes to not letting go and going no contact, maybe is there something that have you not had closure? It could be a good idea to have one more conversation with closure before you go no contact, of just sharing how you really thought or felt. Maybe being vulnerable, like, listen, I wanted this out of the relationship. I see now that you're not down for this right now. I just want you to know I've got nothing but love for you. I really wished it would have worked out, but I'm going to go no contact now. You could be vulnerable. For a long time in the past, I've not been vulnerable, and I've remained in a gray zone in some of my relationships. And what I had to eventually do is I had to not be afraid to show my heart, to be vulnerable. And after I did that, I started to feel I was in so much integrity, and I felt so alive, and I felt like I was really living true to myself, and I wasn't abandoning myself any longer. And then from there onwards, I was able to really start choosing me. And maybe this is your sign to start really choosing you, and to understand that you are good enough the way you are, and that you get in life a reflection of what you believe you deserve. And if you're chasing somebody that doesn't treat you that way, or somebody that you feel like you have to prove yourself to, then you're believing that is outside of yourself. You're believing you have to chase it in order to get it. And the way that it works is reality is like a mirror. It reflects back what we believe to be true. So one of the most powerful things you could do is start to become aware of these beliefs. And as you become aware of these beliefs, you're able to really transform your life. And I do have 3 free meditations if you haven't checked them out already. One's on healing the inner child and feeling worthy. The other's on changing your self-image, because your self-image is projected out and other people respond to that. So it's just self-image transformation. And then my most popular meditation's been listened to more than 6 million times on YouTube. It's attracting love and feeling love from the inside out. There are thousands of testimonials on that free YouTube video that shows exactly it actually works if you listen to that meditation for 21 days. But you can click the link below, go to aarondowdy.com/meditation. You can download all 3 of those meditations, listen to them whenever you want, and watch how much your life begins to change. Now, if you also want to find out what happens when you energetically when you go no contact, this video right here explains it all. What is called no contact is one of the most powerful processes or energies that you can infuse into what you're experiencing if you find it hard to let go, or if you find that the more you try to make something work with somebody, the more it butchers up the process. This is